As a teacher, how prepared would you feel to protect yourself and your students in the event of a school shooting?
I would like to believe I'm fully prepared, but I don't know if that's actually the case.
I would be mostly prepared.
I guess I could throw a chair at somebody, but
I would never say I feel safe or prepared just because there's so much unknown.
And as a teacher, do you feel that being armed and trained would make you feel more or less prepared in the event of a school shooting?
And this plays off of my answer to my first question. The answer is yes.
If there was more training and like an actual protocol of what we could do, I think that would maybe be more helpful. But again, it's situational. It changes. You have no idea how you're going to react in a new situation.
yeah, I can see that being a good thing. But also there's certain risks to that too.
But I feel like I wish I knew a little bit more of a safety plan if that were to happen.
Our banks, our airports, our NBA games, our NFL games, our office buildings, our movie stars, our politicians. They're all more protected than our children at school. Does that make any sense to anybody? Do we really love our money and our celebrities more than we love our children?
Questions about how it would really work if teachers were carrying concealed guns in schools. We've got a lot of questions, but here are just some, in no particular order, that every school board needs to have answered. What type of gun would teachers carry? How much ammo per teacher? Who pays for the guns? Who trains the teachers with the guns? Who certifies the teachers with guns? How much more money do teachers with guns make than teachers without guns? Do all the teachers know which teachers are carrying? Do all the students know which teachers are carrying? Where are the guns stored? Does each classroom have a gun safe? Who knows the code to the gun safe besides the teacher? What happens to the guns overnight? Would armed schools now need 24/7 armed security to protect their guns? Is this just for high schools? What about elementary schools? What about preschools? Will armed teachers be present on field trips, at after-school activities, at sporting events, at sports practices, at music recitals, at school plays? Can a teacher lose his or her concealed carry status if he or she has disciplinary problems? How about domestic problems? Will parents need to sign waivers in case their children are accidentally shot by teachers? Can we rely on teachers to be able to shoot one of their colleagues if they lose it? Can we rely on teachers to be able to shoot a student? None of these are easy questions. But the point is, that's just some of the questions. And does anyone seriously think that these questions can be answered in ways that are going to make parents and children feel comfortable?
According to usafacts.org, from the year 2000 to the year 2022, there have been a total of 1,370 school shootings at public and private elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. This has resulted in the death of 515 beloved students and faculty, as well as 1,161 injuries.
School shootings have been a pretty big issue in recent years, and some say that having armed teachers would help protect students and staff. While that is a potential solution, some argue that the role should be left to professionals. Some say that it could cause more chaos, and a trained professional could see the teacher as a threat in the already chaotic situation. If teachers are to be armed, people ask, can any training really prepare a teacher? Will they be able to take action in the situation? For some states, that is the case. For example, Kansas has allowed teachers and staff to be armed. They have been specifically given authorization in writing by the superintendent of any unified school district or the chief administrator of any accredited non-public school. Those teachers will hold a concealed carry permit and get the proper training that is necessary to protect their students from harm. Some other questions that can be asked is, do all teachers have the mental capacity to withhold a gun or weapon at school? Are they in the right mental state to protect their students and not turn against them? However, arming teachers also adds liability insurance that is necessary for schools to have if they allow their teachers to be armed, or even their staff. In another light, we have our Second Amendment right that allows us the right to keep and bear arms.
Gun control is often discussed as a way to make schools safer, but another part of the conversation is whether teachers should be allowed to carry firearms. In a world where school shootings have become far too common, some believe we need more than laws. We need protection on the inside. Arming teachers isn't about turning schools into war zones. It's about giving trained and willing educators a last line of defense in the worst case scenario. The idea is not to have guns out in the open. These weapons would be safely secured and out of sight, only accessible in a true emergency. The goal is to be prepared, not paranoid. When seconds matter, waiting for police to arrive can cost lives. A trained teacher already in the building can stop a threat faster. No teacher would be forced to carry a weapon. Only those who choose to and complete the training would be allowed to. Arming teachers doesn't replace gun control or mental health resources. It complements them. It's part of a layered defense strategy. This is how it would work. Teachers who volunteer would go through extensive background checks and firearm training. Guns would be stored in biometric safes or carried concealed in a way that students would never see them. Schools would establish clear rules and procedures to make sure safety always comes first. This policy isn't about fear, it's about readiness. No one wants teachers to become security guards, but in today's world, some believe it's responsible to give them the tools to protect their students if the unthinkable happens.
If done in the correct way, this policy can be very beneficial to the safety of America's schools. To understand some of the potential impacts of our policy, we should first take a look at some existing policies and their impact. For example, many schools are considered a gun-free zone. And what this means is it's an area where carrying a firearm is prohibited. Pretty simple. In the article titled "The Effect of Gun-Free School Zones on Crimes Committed with a Firearm in St. Louis, Missouri" by Paul M. Reaping, Ariana N. Gobard, Christopher N. Morrison, and Charles C. Branas, it states that 1,596 crimes committed with a firearm occurred in gun-free school zones, which covered 91.33 miles squared, and only 885 crimes committed with a firearm occurred in the surrounding gun-allowing zones, which covered 53.17 miles squared. While this is just what occurred in Missouri, this quote shows how our new approach for keeping children and staff safe within schools should have real results and influences on the people directly affected. Making sure that teachers have a firearm nearby creates a much safer environment for the students to learn and focus without the constant fear of a school shooting and the danger of the situation. Some direct impacts of this policy include emergency response time would be immensely lessened, meaning the victims of the potential danger wouldn't need to wait for police, and there would be reduced casualties. Many people know of the Columbine High School shooting, which in 1999, which left 16 people dead and 23 people injured. This tragedy is a prime example of why teachers should be armed, or at least have a firearm nearby. The response time for police can't always be immediate for a number of reasons, which is why arming teachers and training them is essential for protecting students and staff when time is of the essence, and when time is saved, lives are saved. As well as direct impacts for this policy, there are also many indirect impacts or mental impacts. For example, parents and students would have emotional reassurance knowing that there is a defense plan for any potential danger, and there would be a calm environment at school with the gun out of sight. The list of potential impacts of this demonstrated out of sight, out of mind policy goes on, and this shows how helpful this policy could be.
In conclusion, we have shown that although it is a big debate about whether guns should be allowed in schools or not, schools that have teachers who are able to handle concealed weapons could have a better chance against school shootings than schools with a no-gun zone policy. We have shown through our interviews that a lot of faculty at our own school believe that better training and preparation in general is needed to handle an emergency situation like a school shooting. We have also found that if our policy were to be implemented, training teachers would be essential to help them feel more comfortable handling a firearm. In the end, the implementation of our out of sight, out of mind policy would create a more safe and secure learning environment that enables students and teachers throughout the U.S. to attend school knowing that in the event of a school shooting, they are well prepared to protect themselves and their classrooms. This will result in a more peaceful environment rather than an anxiety-filled one. Teachers will have received proper training on how to handle firearms and will be able to know what to do in the event of a school shooting.